This little saw is made of very accurately machined solid aluminum plate. The saw was wrapped in plastic, had 2-inch styrofoam on top, bottom, sides, styrofoam pieces stacked on the end. Very well packed, very well. A couple of boards set across the bathroom scale. The thing weighs in at about 28 pounds. Pretty heavy for a little saw. I'm going to guess about half of that is the motor. The fence slides back and forth on linear bearings with locking thumb screws on both ends. Make sure the blade height lock screw is loose. Adjust the blade height and tighten the locking screw. Remember to loosen the locking screw again before lowering the blade. The 1/4-inch Allen key inserts from the side and is guided by a bushing to the blade height locking screw. Blade height adjustment is smooth and easy. The opening in the base is 6.5 by 6 inches. The base is a 1/4-inch aluminum plate with rubber feet on the 4 corners and measures 15 3/4 by 10 inches wide. There is a sturdy belt guard on the left side, and the table height is 5 7/8 inches above the workbench. The 3/8 inch thick aluminum table is 12 inches wide by 10 inches deep. Loosen the 2 thumb screws to position the rip fence. Always tighten the front locking thumb screw first, which squares the fence to the saw blade. Then tighten the rear thumb screw. Positioning the fence is done the old-fashioned way, with a ruler or a caliper. The micrometer can be used for fine-tuning the adjustment or for fine-tuning after the initial cut has been made. The aluminum extended fence, which is an optional accessory, can be removed by loosening the 4 Allen screws. Once removed, the remaining steel fence is 1/8 of an inch high and can then be used with the taper gauge. The taper gauge is adjustable and has angle positions engraved on the locking plate. Reinstallation of the extended fence is easy. There are 3 indexing pins which only allow it to be installed in the correct position. Then tighten the 4 Allen screws. The miter gauge has 1/8 inch reamed holes and an indexing pin for accurately locating most required angles. The locking screw is tightened after inserting the indexing pin or by itself for setting angles in between those indexed. I need to make an adapter for this, for the small hose on my shop vac. This is 1 3/4 inch diameter. I took a number of these cut from scrap plywood and stacked them together to make this assembly. And I drilled a 1 3/4 inch hole from both sides, squared that on the drill press, and drilled a 1 3/4 inch hole this way. I take one of my tapered shop vac hose adapters and I'll glue that on there, and there'll be a piece of scrap plywood glued on the end of this. I have sanded that to round over the corners and make it look a little neater, just for fun. And then if you take a high intensity flashlight and shine it through this plywood, if you can see light shining through there, then there's a good chance you could have an air leak. That's reason enough to go ahead and give this a couple of coats of varnish to seal it up. That adapter has been varnished inside and out with 2 coats, and the wood is now sealed. Going to make a couple of cuts with the table saw and test my dust collection. It's clean under there. Run the blade up. Lock the blade. Put my adapter around there. And the shop vac. That's clean, pretty clean under there. And we'll make the same cut without the shop vac. So the dust collection works pretty well. Leaving that under there, let's see what happens if we just turn it on now. Picks up most of it. So that's working pretty effectively.